Hi there, this is Eshu. I'm the abbot here at Zenwest Buddhist Society. This Living Zen-podcast is just one of the many resources we've created at Zenwest to make Zen practice and training more available and accessible to people all over the world. Instructional videos, printable resources, and much, much more are also available on our website at www.zenwest.ca. If you're a regular listener, I'd love to hear from you. So please drop me an email at office@zenwest.ca and let me know who you are, how you got started, and what brought you to Zen. Everything we make available in person and online at Zenwest is only possible because of the support of our members and associates, people like you. If the efforts of our community are making a difference in your life, I'd like to invite you to show your support and take part in making it happen by becoming an associate or member of the Zenwest Sangha. You can do this by clicking the Join Us tab on our website at www.zenwest.ca. Thank you for your support, and thanks for listening. Tonight I wanted to talk a little bit about harmony, harmonious functioning. For most of us here who have been to the Tuesday sits at UVic, it's a little bit more difficult to grasp this point in a sort of larger scale sit practice. But one of the things I'm just observing about this evening is the simplicity or the ease with which we can slip into harmony with one another. A tremendous amount of the form that we engage in Zen practice points to this simple principle of harmony. From the time that we come in the door, the attitude is one of entering into a place of practice where we contribute and participate in creating a harmonious, receptive environment. So this is why we don't have a lot of sort of chit-chat before the sit. We're encouraged to just come in and sit down, create an environment that's conducive to practice. There's opportunity for tea and talking afterwards. We know this, so we can just come in from the time we enter and just focus on being here, fully being here to engage in this practice. As we begin our practice, we start with a sort of vocal toning, humming and toning. And this is a very literal practice that encourages us to come into harmony with the people that we're practicing with the environment that we're in. So everything sort of comes into harmony together. And it requires our attention. It requires our engagement. The bell sounds, and we have to bring our attention to what's happening in the room. How is the sound embracing us? How do we give rise to sound that meets our environment? We have to meet it in tone. We have to meet it in volume. We don't want to be sort of shouting, while everyone else is sort of at a particular level. How do we harmonize? How do we become one with our circumstance, with our environment? It's made a little bit more complex once we start to get into the actual chanting, because we bring in our intellect into this activity. And this is why when people start chanting, I always say, don't try to study the text while you're trying to chant. You've really got to just give yourself to the chanting. I think the things that we chant, the Heart Sutra, the final instructions of Daito, all of the things that we chant are worthwhile studying and investigating and learning about. but the time to do it is not while we're chanting. When we're chanting, the activity is just to manifest harmonious functioning, become one with our environment. And as we sit, likewise, our practice is to keep returning to this balance point, this harmonious balance point between chasing after or indulging in what our senses are providing us with, the sights and the sounds and the smells, the physical sensations, thoughts and images and emotions, all of this stuff coming into our awareness, inviting us to play. And our practice is just to sort of be harmonious with it all, without picking or choosing, without taking up anything in particular, and without holding away from anything, resisting anything, pushing back anything. Just completely dissolving into the balance of the experience of this unfolding moment. Harmonious with all of those sensory realms, without picking or choosing or rejecting or avoiding any of them. Sitting and breathing, paying attention to our breath in harmony with what's arising in this moment. When we do things like bowing, standing, and walking, it requires us to completely engage so that we're paying attention to what's happening inside of us, paying attention to the innumerable distractions and opportunities we have to really not be here, allowing them to pass, allowing ourselves to completely dissolve into the activity that's unfolding in this moment, paying attention to the environment and the people that we're with, and manifesting harmoniously with them. When we walk, really connecting with the people who are in front of us and the person who is behind us. And I think in this small kind of group, it's a wonderful opportunity because it's really easy, especially if you've got a few experienced practitioners, to really feel the harmonious functioning. We can actually experience and feel this momentum, this invitation, this welcome to harmonious function. And when we walk, particularly on a slow walk like we're doing this evening, we can actually feel the effortlessness of it. We can feel like we're being carried by the harmony that's unfolding in this moment. This is important. It's more challenging in a bigger group because to arrive at that place of unified harmony, it requires the full participation of every part of the equation. Everybody has to be completely engaged, completely present, completely committed to participating, to engaging, to manifesting harmoniously. So when we have a small group, there's no little corners for any individual to hide in. There's no opportunity for us to sort of gap out, because it's really clear if we've gapped out in this form. Why is this important? Why do we spend so much time practicing in this way, practicing and investigating this activity of harmony? The teaching is that this harmonious function is available to us at all times. This harmonious function is the fundamental nature of the cosmos. All throughout our lives, this opportunity, this flow, this Dharma activity is manifesting in us and through us and in and through all things, all objects, all beings, all the time. We become distracted by the innumerable thoughts and emotions and sensations and activities and relationships and things that are going on, and we lose our connection, we lose our awareness of this fundamental activity that's taking place. As long as we're relying on our thinking, on our figuring, on our conceptual mind, am I harmonious or am I not? Am I being in sync with things or am I not? Am I going with the flow or am I not? It's always very easy for us to become confused. It's very easy for us to become distracted. Zazen, Zen practice, is an experiential way. We know that it's easy for us to become distracted. We know that it's easy for us to be pulled away, confused and deluded in our intellectual mind. And so when we engage in this harmonious functioning, when we strip life down to its bare bones, the sitting and the using our voice and our walking, when we take away so many of the innumerable variables and just bring it down to the sort of bare bones, it's much more easy for us to access this. It's much easier for us to engage with this simple, harmonious functioning. It's easier, more straightforward for us to experience it and to come to know it and to immerse ourselves in that experience, in that way of being. The reason that we spend so much time engaging in this way is that it becomes more and more straightforward, more and more clear, more and more apparent as we go out into our everyday lives. When we're immersed, when we've been in that environment, when we've been functioning in a harmonious way, then when we're distracted, when we're caught up in something, when we're fixated with something, it's not a matter of thinking, oh, am I being harmonious or not? It's a feeling. It's an experience. It's a known experience. We can know for ourselves in an instant, this feels separated. This feels disconnected. This feels discordant, disharmonious. Without having to rely on a sort of divisive faculty of discrimination, we use our hearts, our hara, our own felt experience that knows harmony and discord. And through practice, through over and over again experiencing through practice this division, this dislocation, how we can let go, dissolve into, reconnect with the harmonious functioning. We learn more and more how to engage in that, how to do that in our day-to-day lives. This activity, this Dharma activity, is functioning all the time, as I've said. our capacity to unify with it is there all the time, as I've said before. Our practice is not to add any new superpowers or any new capacities or to grab onto something that we don't already possess. It is simply this activity of returning home, coming back to the unfolding activity of this very moment. It's nothing other than the activity of our life. And all we're doing when we practice is engaging in the activity of embracing that life fully. Embracing the unfolding activity of our life with all of our attention, with all of our love, with all of our energy. In Zen, when we talk about awakening, this is the simple activity that we're talking about. Waking up to the activity of every moment of our unfolding lives. Thanks for listening to the Living Zen-podcast. If you follow Living Zen through iTunes, I would very much appreciate it if you would take a moment to let me know what you think about it by rating or reviewing the podcast, so that new listeners can also hear what you have to say. Thank you for your time and for your support.